6:30 a.m. West Coast time, 9:30 a.m. East Coast time, and just a great way, folks, to finish off your week, start off your weekend here with the best of the best in the ShieldNation family. And if you missed the live event, not a problem. We do have the playback, a very convenient playback feature that Trish worked so hard to make sure that it's up there on the ShieldNation website. Just go under webinar, the webinar tab there, folks, and you literally could then hit the webinar for the week, or even go back to previous weeks. And I truly believe that, folks, that we can get coached by six-figure ring earners, millionaire club members in LegalShield, and not pay probably the thousands of dollars this kind of training would be in the outside world. That's called a good deal. So again, the key here, if you missed the live event, is you've got to schedule the playback. If you don't, another week's going to go by. And some of you are probably nodding your head right now going, yep, I know exactly what he's talking about. So again, I just wanted to kind of let that out there. It's so important to catch this webinar on a weekly basis and to make sure your team is catching this as well. Real quick bio on me, just satisfied customer here, folks. I'll share a little bit in our presentation today, but 15 years with the company. Background was corporate America, a real estate broker for GE Capital, and back in the 90s, got introduced to this company as a customer, as a consumer. Had a situation going on that literally the law firm in California took care of with a 2-page letter, and didn't have the stress, anymore. Didn't get the crazy legal bill, and literally came on board part-time. Literally was part-time for a few years, getting plugged into the system, getting plugged into the conference calls, just getting out there and practicing and just literally getting better and better on a daily, weekly basis. And here we are today, six-figure ring earners. We got our lives back. We take vacations. In fact, we just literally moved to the Raleigh market Monday. So we're going to spend our winter here in Raleigh as the weather's a little nicer than up in the mountains of Asheville. And, folks, that's what this business does. You've got choices. We didn't have to check with a boss. I didn't have to, oh, my God, what am I going to do with my job if I move? Folks, we loaded up the U-Haul, and we came out here, and we ended up scoring a sublease from a guy who had to get out of his lease to move to Florida. So he ended up paying for October. He ended up paying for the month of November. And it's a beautiful complex that we live in. We've got all the amenities. We've got the fitness. We've got the pool. We've got all the bells and whistles. And, again, it's so much fun to just carry on with my business. In fact, I've got a lunch appointment today with a gentleman that I'm going to sit down and literally do this presentation we're going to talk about right now in the next probably 50 minutes. Okay, so grab a pen, grab a piece of paper here, folks, because the title of today's webinar is How to Earn a Six-Figure Plus Income in LegalShield. And today's training is going to be nuts and bolts. It's going to be a little bit of philosophy thrown in there, but folks, if you'll get your arms around today's training and listen to this and watch this and practice it, I guarantee, just like Mr. Hoffman did to me 15 years ago, he said, Bobby, do you want to earn a six-figure income in LegalShield? I'm like, absolutely. He said, learn these 4 questions, do this presentation, and guess what? He was absolutely correct. So we're going to start right here, the consumer folder presentation. It should be on your screen right here, ladies and gentlemen. At the end, I'm going to show you where to get some of the resources here over on ShieldNation. But for right now, let's go ahead and I'm just going to give you an example. When I sit down with somebody, and I've literally sat down with hundreds and hundreds of people, and I just have fun with my LegalShield business, okay? We're not here to sell. We're not here to twist anybody's arm. We're here to just really be a consultant. How can I help this person? How can I help this person's family, their business, what have you? And we'll literally sit down, and I'll have this presentation out. In fact, for lunch today, I've got it already set up. I've got this presentation ready to go. I got my membership app already highlighted. In fact, that's sitting inside the presentation, and I'm literally gonna have a pen out. My pen's going to be my pointer, and then I'm going to point out why the pen is so important in about 4 minutes also. But we're literally going to start with this very first page. And folks, I tell you, I got to laugh because this is how simple it is. I have my prospect, I have my guest read this presentation, okay? And here's what's interesting, folks. The old adage is how you introduce LegalShield to somebody is how they do LegalShield. So if you end up doing a 3-hour presentation on somebody, they may or may not, get the service, become an associate. They may or may not. I guarantee it doesn't duplicate. Okay, with our consumer folder presentation, this duplicates all day long. And so, again, I'm going to have my guests read "Worry Less, Live More." Because number one, it's kind of upside down, so I really can't even read it. I'm going to point to them and, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you read that? And they're going to read legal protection for everyone, everywhere, no matter how traumatic or trivial the situation. Okay, and then I'm going to have them continue to read. Imagine getting top-rated legal advice on any matter without worrying about the high hourly cost. You can protect your family, save money, enjoy peace of mind for pennies a day. And I'll just say something like, doesn't that sound cool? Just like that, just a real, little bit of a tie-down. All right, now this next part right here is very, very, very important. In fact, I'm going to make it a little bigger. That's why it's so important. At this point, what I want you to do is, I still want you to hold on to this presentation. It's upside down, but still hold on to it. Because what we found is if you release this presentation, your chances are you might have just lost your presentation. And what I mean by that is you'll do it once, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you end up just giving the presentation to them, next thing you know, they're turning pages, they're looking at all the sparkly pictures, and you pretty much just lost your presentation. So instead, what I want you to do is, have a couple fingers still holding the presentation. It's upside down, so they're reading it just like you're reading it. But hand them a pen. Hand them that pen that you have in your hand, and ask them, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you put a check mark by any of these items that have either happened to you or, this one's important, anybody you know, maybe family, neighbors, and such. And the reason for that is because of this situation right here, the foreclosure and bankruptcy. Because what that is that's kind of a little personal there, and sometimes people feel a little bad about that kind of stuff, so we don't want to make them feel bad. So that for the reason for that, we say, hey, anyone you know who might have gone through some of these issues, okay? And folks, let them, go ahead and don't say anything. Let them read. Let them concentrate on this a little bit. Have them put the check marks down. And here's what's absolutely fascinating, is that you should get every bit of 50% of these items check marked off all day long, okay? I had a situation a while back. We met with a small business person, and the father and daughter were there, and I only had one of these. For some reason, I was running low that day. So they actually had to share one of these consumer folders, and the daughter was kind of craning her neck and, trying to read these items, and she was like, oh, I just put a check mark by that whole first column. My gosh, that's absolutely me. And we're just having fun. And what I'm doing here, folks, is I'm finding out their hot buttons. Okay, this is critical. Now you know their hot buttons. My favorite question to ask in the whole presentation is right here. When was the last time you updated your will? Okay, it's not do you have a will. It's when was the last time you updated your will. So if you're out there right now doing your presentations and you're asking people, hey, do you have a will? And you're not getting the love, you're not getting the response you should be getting, well, that's what this is about. This is a training for you to kind of tweak things. Just like a pair of binoculars, sometimes it just needs a couple clicks to be absolutely focused. And that's exactly what some of the language that we use here, folks, is, again, when was the last time you updated your will? Very, very important there. Probably my favorite question when I do this presentation, or even when I'm out and about. Okay? So again, these are going to be situations that are going on in people's lives that you wouldn't ordinarily know, but now that there's a check mark, also sometimes I'll ask, hey, of all those items you check marked off, which one's like really big? well, which one's really big? And, sometimes it's, oh, boy, I just got a traffic ticket, or, I'm going through a child custody situation. That's the beauty of this part right here, folks, is you now know the person's hot button, okay? At that point, you're going to go ahead and turn the presentation over, and you're going to fold it over, and you're literally going to start right here under preventative law, and bingo, you literally could do a presentation right here under this first area and forget everything else, okay? And it reminds me of a story. I was with Dan Webb up in Northern California a while ago, and we sat down with an HR person for the city. I think they had about 140 employees. We literally did a presentation right here. We asked 4 questions. I collected a decision, and she's like, yeah, this sounds great. Let's do it. All right? So, folks, we literally right here, we did the deal. So just when you're out there doing your presentation, again, find out, folks, sometimes I've seen associates go too much. We're so darn excited about all that LegalShield does that we feel we have to share everything. And we literally do the vomit package on them and blah, blah, blah all over them. Folks, no, just read your guest there, read your prospect, what's in it for them, and keep things real simple, okay? So let's get into the 4 questions. Again, I'm going to show you at the end of the presentation where to find these 4 questions. I'm going to ask that you print out these 4 questions, and I'm going to ask that you learn these 4 questions. If you were to ask my wife, literally for weeks, we'd be driving in the car, and she would have the script in front of her, and I would be sharing, with her the 4 questions over and over and over and over. 4 questions. That's it, folks. We're not talking rocket scientist stuff here. So question number 1. To my guest, I'm meeting a guy today. His name is Michael. Hey, Michael, would you agree over a year's time we make a lot of important decisions personally, professionally, and financially? And let them answer. Folks, 99.9% of the time, the guest is going to go, yeah, wonderful. Second part of the question is that right here, okay, would you agree we make a lot of important decisions, personally, professionally? Yes, fantastic. Our first area coverage is unlimited telephone consultation on an unlimited number of issues. At this point right here, I literally, I actually right here in the column, let me see if I can do a little drawing thing here. I literally draw a little thing right here. I say 9 to 5, okay? And I'll tell you why I do that in a second. All right? So right here in the column, there's plenty of room. I literally say 9 to 5, during normal business hours, you're going to have access to top attorneys 9 to 5 under any issue out there, okay? You've got a real estate matter. You've got child custody. You've got anything, Monday through Friday, pick up the phone. And oh, this is what I do. I also have my phone out in front of me, and I literally pick up the phone as a prop, as a tool, and I say, no longer is this phone going to cost you $200, $300, $400 an hour. Wouldn't you agree the phone gets pretty heavy at $200, $300, $400 an hour? You don't have to make that decision, next time you have a question. The second question I'm going to ask my guest is, hey, Michael, when was have you ever been treated unfairly? Okay, and again, let them answer. Have fun here, folks. Sometimes I'll joke and say, in the last half hour, just think back over the last 6 months, last year, have you ever been treated unfairly? And here's the big question: what did you do about it? And this is important, folks. You'll see my conversation, and I mean conversation with my guest, is interactive. I'm asking questions, they're answering, they're part of it. I'm not doing the blah, 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 just all about me. I want to get them involved. So, Michael, have you ever been treated unfairly? I sure have. Hey, Michael, what'd you do about it? And shut up. Let them squirm. Let them get in there a little bit like, oh, my God, the airlines messed up my luggage, and, my God, and get in there. So what'd you do about it? Oh, I called the airlines, and went through voicemail hell, and what else? What else? Keep digging, keep digging. What you want to get to the point here, folks, is, well, why don't you call your attorney? Okay? And what you want to really get to is, it's the money. See, again, $200–300 an hour, the average person's not going to make that phone call. All right? So at this point, you're going to share, well, that's the best part of our service, is next time someone treats you unfairly, don't get upset, don't get stressed out, pick up the phone, call your attorney, and if the attorney feels a letter or a phone call will help, that's exactly what they'll do. Okay? Now, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, we want to turn this into show and tell. Okay? And at this point, what I'd like everybody to do is, oh, let me get out of something here. At this point, I'm going to then now show them a sample letter, a sample situation that happened to me. Now, folks, if you don't have a letter yet, if you don't have any kind of a, I call this my dog and pony stuff right here, borrow it from someone who does. Borrow my story until you get your story. And I always share this story. This happened to me. It was for a situation back in, well, over 10 years ago. An issue here where a debt collector was coming after me for $225. Okay, very intimidating letter. They're gonna whack my credit. If you'll read through here, it's got all that legalese. 2 pages of just sheer, oh my God, what's going on here? Okay, and it was a service I legitimately wasn't happy with. I stopped it. What they do, they threw me to collection. At this point, folks, I'm going to ask my guest, hey, Michael, what would you do if you got a letter just like this? And I'm going to hand him the letter. Again, why do I do that? I want him to squirm. I want him to feel what it feels like if he gets this letter. And there's usually 3 responses. The first is, the trash can. That's a legitimate response. I don't recommend it, but that's a response. The second is to call an attorney. About 1 out of 20 times the guest will actually say that, and I always congratulate them on that. That's a great business decision. Another decision is just to go ahead and pay the amount. That's awesome too. That's a good business decision sometimes. Or how about calling Tiffany, and that's what old Bob would have done. I would have picked up the phone, called Tiffany, and gave her a piece of my mind. Got upset, wasted time. Well, new Bob picks up the phone and calls Parker Stanberry. See, Parker Stanberry is the lead provider law firm in Southern California, actually all of California. And at this point, folks, I actually show my prospect, my guest, a copy of the letter. Okay? We market an intangible. It's intangible. Sometimes people can't grasp it. When you show them a letter like this, okay, and actually I have fun. I actually show them my letterhead from my law firm versus, Tiffany's letterhead here, barely 2 sentences, let alone now Parker Stanberry, who's this Robert Cohen guy, and my gosh, he's got some firepower, and we're having fun again, okay? I literally fold this over. I have it in my plastic sleeve, I have it in a little binder, and I literally show my prospect a sample letter. And here's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. I let them read it. Here's what's kind of fun. If I have a guest who literally reads every little syllable of this letter, I know I've got an analytical person here that most probably I'm not going to get ink on paper this very first sitting. Most probably. There are exceptions, especially if we hit some hot buttons. But what I'm getting at here, folks, is it's probably going to take some follow-up. It's probably going to take, put them on the autoresponder. They're going to have to, analyze it and all that. If I have a guest who just barely, reads this, like most people, I know this person's going to make a decision, very, very quickly. So again, here's that letter. It's got all that legalese, and I let the guest read it. At that point, I literally tell my guest, at that point, I thought that was the end of it, Tiffany. We showed you. Well, lo and behold, I heard back from Tiffany. This time, her response was a lot shorter, and basically saying she's not going to pursue this any further. No negative report appeared, by the company on my credit. Have a nice life, Bob. Ladies and gentlemen, I have shared this story hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. This story has literally made me thousands, literally thousands and thousands of dollars, okay? And I share it with you here to, same thing, get your story, folks. You borrow our story till you get your own, okay? At this point, my third question here, back to my guest, is, hey, Michael, have you ever signed a contract or document you wish you hadn't? Again, let them answer. You know, think about it, Michael. Every time we buy a car, we lease a car, we rent an apartment, you know, we buy a house, anything, you know, we sign contracts. Michael, you know, if you were to ask a wealthy person to sign a contract, what do you think they'll say? And normally the guest is going to say, you know, let me speak to my attorney. Let me have my attorney review it. At that point, Michael, I'd ask them, you know, well, why? Well, because, you know, wealthy people make good decisions and they can afford it. At that point, I'm going to say, Michael, how would you like to have the same privilege the wealthy have? Okay, sure. Everybody wants to have the same privilege there. All right? Next time someone says sign here, Michael, pick up that phone, have the attorneys review that contract, review that document, and now you know where you stand. Okay? I'll share a story, just what happened to me literally over the last 5 years. We have had the attorneys here in North Carolina review documents. One of them literally saved us $30,000 because the attorney reviewed it. He said, don't you dare sign it. We didn't. And thank God I had access to the attorneys. I didn't get the crazy legal bill. It was all part of the monthly service. Okay? Last but not least, again, favorite question I'm going to ask here is, hey, Michael, when was the last time you updated your will? Okay? I probably already know the answer from the first page that he check marked off that. But again, I want to bring this to light. And at this point, I'm going to remind him how serious a will is. I'm going to remind him that the state has a will for his loved ones, which I guarantee they're probably not going to want to see. I'm going to let him know with our service, and I'm literally going to show him a sample will questionnaire that everybody, all of us gets that from the company. It's blue. It's a sample membership packet there. I literally have that as part of my dog and pony show here, that I'm going to go through it with them. I'm going to show them it's an easy process. It's a simple process. It's an expensive process. Normally it's $800 to $1,000. But at that point, I'm really going to show him the value of this service. Okay? So right here, folks, we're going to go ahead and stop, and I'm going to ask for a decision. I'm literally going to summarize what we just shared here by my first 4 points. So, Michael, if I were to summarize what we just shared, unlimited telephone consultation on an unlimited number of issues, letters and phone calls made on your behalf, contract and document review, and a will prepared for you and your family, not only a will, but a living will. Michael, would you agree $39.85 is an absolute no-brainer to protect not only yourself, but your whole entire family? And let him answer. Folks, Michael's going to go, yeah, that's a no-brainer. At that point, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to reach over. I'm going to shake his hand. I'm going to say, Michael, welcome to LegalShield. Okay? And, folks, at this point, I'm going to be having my enrollment form out in front of me. It's going to be highlighted. And I'm going to say, Michael, where would you like your will questionnaire sent to? Okay? And I'm going to start right here under mailing address, and we're going to start filling it out. That's it, folks. That's it. Okay? I'm going to start asking the other questions. I'm going to fill out the enrollment form on my members' behalf. Okay? If you're kind of you're sensing, whoa, 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 you're going a little too fast kind of thing, not a problem, because at that point, folks, you can continue on with the presentation. Okay? A while ago, I met with a firefighter, and I did my presentation. I asked my 4 questions, and he's giving me some gas. He's giving me a little bit of a hard time. No, Bob, that's too much to spend. I go, his name was Jeff. I go, Jeff, no problem. I'm not here to convince. Let me keep going on with the presentation, because that was only about 20%. Okay? At that point, I'm going to go across, and I'm now going to talk about motor vehicle. Okay? Very important that you stay in line here, exactly how I'm describing this, okay? If you're doing your presentation and you start jumping around, one time you start with preventative, next time you do trial, sometimes you do the 24-hour, guess what? You're going to miss stuff, okay? And so what I want you to do is I want you to follow the plan, and I want you to then now go to motor vehicle, okay? At this point, ladies and gentlemen, again, I'm going to write here in the margin. I'm going to write here. Bear with me here a second. I got to open up something. I'm going to write 15 days. Okay. And normally it's a little more prettier here, but you get my point. So 15 days. Okay. And what does that mean? There's a 15-day wait for motor vehicle. Why do I do that, folks? Well, I don't want to oversell this service. You never want to do that. I never do that. And what you're going to do here is you're going to let them know, hey, play it cool for the next 2 weeks, but in the event, after that, you do get a moving traffic violation, your driver's license is current, no drugs, no alcohol. What are we going to do? Well, we're actually going to show you how to have access to the attorneys that, guess what? Let me do something here. Let's go back. Okay. We're literally going to have an attorney represent you any kind of moving traffic violation. Now, at this point, what am I going to do? We're back to show and tell. So here's a story. Here's a friend of mine, Kevin. He goes to Vegas. They get him for doing what I think they got him for a 78 and a 60. Okay. My friend has the service. He picks up the phone. He calls Parker Stanberry. What does Parker Stanberry do? They hook him up with the Nevada law firm. Nevada law firm goes to his court hearing on his behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, the citation was brought down to a parking violation, no points, no classes. He did have to pay a little shakedown fee of $65. Okay? So again, you see how powerful this is, ladies and gentlemen? He didn't get the bill from the attorney. This should have been every bit of probably $300-400 to have an attorney go to your court hearing on your behalf. His insurance company still thinks he's a great driver. So again, folks, motor vehicle, very, 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 very powerful. At this point, I'm going to go super fast. Trial defense, in case any kind of lawsuits, IRS, in case of any kind of audits. That's it. That's it. That's about all I'm going to say. This one's important, okay? Very important here, because again, we want to make sure the expectation is not that crazy. So at this point, I'm going to say, are we going to cover everything for the $39.85? Okay, and I want him to say with me, no. Okay, no, no, no. What I'm getting at here, folks, is just like any other, medical and such, you've got most of it's going to be covered under what I just shared, but you've got the big stuff. You've got the bankruptcies, the bank robberies, the custodies, the divorce. Fine, we're still going to cover that, but we're going to give that member a 25% discount. Okay, this is really important. So if you see you're not doing this right now, please add that in your repertoire, because it's very, very important that your member realizes that not everything's going to be covered here with the price point of $39.85. All right. Also, 24-hour access to the attorneys. This is a biggie, especially if they've got the little ones. I always give them the story. God forbid you're in a traffic accident and you just don't like the way the questioning is going. How would you like to pick up the phone and have access to the attorneys 24/7? From 5 to 9 p.m. Okay, this time now, see, before, remember I said 9 to 5? Well, this time, this is going to be, at nighttime on the weekends and such. Okay? So again, feel free to write over this. This is their presentation that they're going to keep, make the notes and stuff like that. This is big to let them know who's all covered with the plan. Not only you're covered, but your spouse is covered, significant other. This actually changed, ladies and gentlemen. So what you want to do is now write 26 under these two areas, or I think the new version already has the price point there of 26. Okay? So again, very, very important that you're really sharing how this service works properly. Okay, so hang on here with me. Oops, I'm messing up here. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to get better and better the more you do this. Okay? I've done this presentation literally hundreds and hundreds of times, and not a big deal. You know, some stuff you're going to remember. The goal here is to go through and rewatch this webinar after you do a presentation. You know, go out there, practice, come back, watch the presentation again. You can watch mine. You can watch the Hoffmans. I'll show you where you can, again, just get better and better at this presentation so you're truly having fun doing this presentation. Last but not least, we're going to let him know as part of your service you're going to have access to identity theft protection with one of the best companies out there. Okay? Again, folks, I'm going to write on my form here, bear with me, and I'm going to write the word Kroll, okay, right here in the margin. Most people have no idea who Kroll is, but I'm going to let them know. Kroll's been around for 40-some years. They've always been on the military side. They are the best of the best, ex-FBI, ex-CIA, the whole bit, okay? But I'm going to ask them a question. Again, I'm going to get very interactive. Hey, Michael, do you realize there's 5 types of identity theft? And most people don't realize it. Why? Because the credit cards gets most of the press. At this point, I'm going to ask him, Michael, which do you think is the second fastest growing type of identity theft? Okay? Which do you think is the second fastest growing type of identity theft? Let them answer. A lot of times they're going to say social. Sometimes they'll say criminal. It's actually medical. Okay? Why am I doing this, folks? I'm making it interactive. All right? At this point, I'm going to do what? I'm going to show him a story. Okay? So let me just get out of this real quick. And at that point, what am I going to do? I went online, and you can go online. You can use the same exact story. I've made hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars sharing this exact story because it's so amazing. I couldn't even make this stuff up. So here's a guy named Joe Ryan. He goes to his mailbox. He thinks everything's normal, except he gets a bill for $100,000 for delivering a baby and a $40,000 bill for having a kidney transplant. And many of you who have seen me do my presentation, I share this story every single time. Okay? At this point, I'm going to ask my prospect, hey, Michael, what would you do if you were Joe Ryan? Okay? And zip it up. Let him answer. You know, most of the time, the person's like, oh, my gosh, I don't even know where to begin. I'd start crying. And at that point, I would say, exactly. How would you like to pick up the phone, call Kroll? Kroll's going to get in there. You're literally going to sign over limited power of attorney and have Kroll get in there. You've got licensed investigators, A to Z, get this thing cleared up so that you don't have to go through the brain damage. Is that cool or is that cool? Okay? At that point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to right here, and I'm going to let them know here's where we stand head and shoulders away from everybody else in the marketplace, is because his next phone call is going to be to his attorney, is going to be to his law firm, so now they can start kicking out letters to the health companies and such, letting them know they've got the wrong person. See, I literally say this. No other identity theft service out there has the teeth that LegalShield has. Okay? If that's not in your language, folks, please start putting that in your language. Okay? At that point, we're done. We're done. Here's my big, hard closing question, everybody. Ready? Ready? You're sitting down? Here we go. At this point, I'm going to hand them the presentation. I'm literally going to open it up. So this page is open and this page is open. I'm going to hand this to Michael, and I'm going to say, so what did you like best? And I'm going to zip it up. Okay? Write that down, folks. If you're not asking, so what do you like best? Not what do you think. I'm not here to get analytical here. Let's keep it positive. What did you like best? And folks, 9 out of 10 times it's right here, preventative, preventative, preventative. Whatever he says, I want you to absolutely agree. He says, oh my God, the will. My wife and I, we've been saying we got to get a will, blah, blah, blah. Wonderful. Let's get that taken care of for you. And again, what address would you like to have that will questionnaire sent to? Okay? Folks, that's our presentation. That's it. That's it. You know, it's not rocket scientist. Yeah, it's going to take you a little bit to memorize those 4 questions. Again, I'm going to show you where to find that here in a second. But that's it. Okay? I love going out to lunch with people. I love meeting them for coffee, Panera Bread. You just literally sit down, do this presentation, and your goal is how many times a day can I do this presentation? Folks, if you did this presentation 2 times a day, that's a 6-figure income, okay, especially a director position. Let me repeat that again. If you did this presentation 2 times a day, 15, 20 minutes, half hour at the most, twice a day at the director position, you're a 6-figure plus ring earner with LegalShield. You've got your life, you're building residual income, and this is all we do is we're out there to help people. All right, so at this point, let me switch gears because I'm going to actually show you now where do you find some of this resource, and then we're also going to talk about the opportunity. We're going to actually talk about referrals. Okay, so at this point, we're going to go ahead and get him processed. I'm going to get Michael processed. I'm going to either upload the app, or I'm going to go online and upload his information online for even quicker service. Okay. What I want to do is let me take you over to ShieldNation.com. You guys are all familiar with this site. ShieldNation.com is our website. Thanks to the Hoffmans, thanks to Trish, an amazing job what they do here. But what I want you to do is go under the training and documents section here, and I want you to scroll down to documents. And if you click documents here, you're going to see right here there's a whole section called selling the service, and right here is literally everything's laid out, all sorts of information that you can bring, trainings and such. But I want you to print out right here, see where it says the script? I want you to go ahead and click that right there, and here we go, folks. This is it. This is the presentation that I just did. All righty? There's a little bit more about building the rapport and learning about them. I didn't get into that on the training today, but it's all right here. It's actually very, very important to do. But as you'll see here, bingo, here we go. Here's the 4 questions that I absolutely want you to get into your brain here so that you know this cold. So, okay, remember question 1? Hey, over a year's time, would you agree we make major decisions that affect our lives? You remember this part? Personally, professionally, and financially? Okay, remember that? Am I saying every single word here? No, but I'm getting the gist of it. Okay? Remember question number 2? Have you ever been treated unfairly? Remember that question? There it is. How about question 3? Have you ever signed a contract or document? I add the part, wish you hadn't, just to have some fun there. I don't know if that's proper English or not, but that's okay. Number 4, when was the last time you updated your will? See, folks, it's all laid out here, okay? But life rewards deserve, not need, okay? LegalShield, like life, is like a buffet table. You've got to serve yourself. You've got to go and get this, and practice it and go and do it and become successful. We can't want it more than you want it, okay? I hope that makes sense here. Again, all the information's here. All the information's about all these different areas here, and it really just literally walks you through, okay? So what I'm going to do here is show you some other things that we've got here. Again, you go to ShieldNation.com, and what I want you to do is go under Store, okay? This very last tab, right here, Store. Trish and Darcy and the rest of them have just done a great job. Everything's laid out here, folks, that you literally, here's your consumer folders that you can pick up, okay? $40 for $50, all laid out, already done. Go ahead and order it online. If you want to learn more about the consumer folder, here it is right here that you just click that link, and here's literally the Hoffmans, Mr. John Hoffman, multi-millionaire club member, with his daughter Brielle, literally role-playing the training. So I absolutely highly recommend you watch that as well. Again, here's the folder here that goes along with it. Okay, so very important, folks, that you, again, be a student here. I always say knowledge brings responsibility. And so now that you know the information, it's so important to be responsible, to get this information out to people, because I guarantee every day we can be helping people live better, worry less with our service. Okay? I'm just going to cover a couple more things, and then I'm actually going to open the lines here. I would love to hear an aha from you all out there. I'd love to hear if you're currently using the consumer folder. How's that working out for you? Okay? And what I want to talk about at this point is referrals and opportunity. Okay? Because once I send in this information, folks, you want to make sure this membership gets processed. You want to make sure it gets processed. Number one, they may be dealing with something very important. They need the service ASAP. Fantastic. We're going to make sure the membership process. And what I do is I either call the company or I go to the back office. I get their new number, and I send them off an email. Okay? And this is just a sample email. This is Carolyn, somebody that just got their service here lately, here back in September. Hey, Carolyn, great news. Your membership's processed. You're ready to call your law firm, Parker Stanberry. I go ahead and, oops, prepaid shouldn't be there, but I go ahead and give them the number there. I go ahead and give them, oops, oh, hey, there's Parker Stanberry. Hey, that's good to do, folks. Give them the website to their law firm so they see, who their law firm is. That was a bonus, by the way. And then go ahead and give them the information for identity theft and how they can start getting their monitoring going. Again, you want to let them know what their number is and such. And then she wanted more information about Go Small Biz. Okay, so that's just something I do to make sure the member has all their information. Next thing I do is I add them on to our very, very successful Autoresponder program. Okay, and if you don't know about our marketing and retention program, oh my gosh, you're probably losing hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So for $24.95, you can have unlimited access to, probably 20, 25 campaigns. And what you can do here, folks, is this is what I do, is I put my new members on the marketing and retention campaign. It takes about 30 seconds, and you literally have different campaigns that you can put your new member on to learn about how does LegalShield work. It takes, again, about 30 seconds. You just need their name. You need their email address. You'll have their birth date on the form, on your enrollment form. Wonderful. They'll actually get a birth date email from you, and it's all taken care of through this system. Okay? The emails are very professional. They're not obnoxious. They don't come every day. They're very, very, very professional. Very important for you, again, to drip on your new members with the different campaigns out there. So if you're not currently using the Autoresponder program, please, it's $24.95 a month. It's a business, folks. One membership just paid for the whole darn thing for the whole year, okay, if you really look at it. And for retention purposes alone, for that residual income, the marketing retention is just so, so important, okay? Last but not least, let me go over, again, when I do meet with a member again, I'm going to follow up with them, make sure everything's going well. But what I want to do is now ask them for referrals. Who else do you know who'd like this service, who'd like the peace of mind of this service? I'm going to ask for referrals. Who else do you know that has family, that maybe hasn't updated their wills, because we could use your help. We're looking to expand. We can't keep up with demand. We're looking for sharp people on a part-time or full-time basis, okay? At that point, folks, what you can do here is Darcy and Trish have done a great job on this tab here. what to bring to any presentation. And literally right here is everything that's laid out, what you need to bring to a presentation that I just shared here. But what I want to share is the compensation, okay, just to kind of give an idea here to that brand new person, you know, how lucrative. So compensation, right here under compensation, here's an associate one. We've got ones for the agents and such. But what I want you to do here is print this out, okay? Print this out in color, put it in your plastic sleeve, and today with Michael, he's actually interested in the membership and the opportunity. We're literally going to go over this form because I'm going to show him how we get paid anywhere from $76 to well over $300 every time we market this, you know, $39.85 plan. Okay, I'm going to show him some ideas. You know, what if on a part-time basis, you know, marketing 5 sales a month, 5 sales a week, what kind of income we can generate together. I'm going to show him the management override. You know, he may know some sharp people. I'm going to definitely get into renewal income, my 2 favorite words in the English language. Okay, I'm not going to get into a lot about this, but I'm just basically going to let him know, you know, we get paid anywhere 25, 30% every time we have a membership that stays in the books. I'm definitely going to get into the bonus program, the performance club program, the BMW. I'm going to ask, hey, Michael, are you currently driving your dream car right now? Would you like to be driving a dream BMW? You know, I'm going to show him the all expense paid, you know, that 400 associates get to go to every year. So I'm just going to show him the fun stuff that we get to do. Again, I'm not going to overload him, but I'm going to absolutely let him know that it's a very lucrative opportunity side to LegalShield. Okay? So with that, I'm going to then either get myself out of the way, I'm going to get my workout partner, my executive director on the phone, somebody to maybe, you know, follow up with Michael and myself, you know, invite Michael out here in Raleigh coming up. We're going to have a big Super Saturday. I'm definitely going to invite Michael out to that so he can come and see the bigger picture. And again, ladies and gentlemen, how you introduce somebody to LegalShield is how they ultimately do LegalShield. So again, folks, it's all about the consumer folder here. Please wrap your arms around it. It works. It works really good. And what we're going to do here is, why don't we take a few minutes? Why don't we go across the country? I'd love to hear from you. Go ahead and raise your hand. If you go back to your there should be a little screen there that you can literally raise your hand. And it looks like Bernard Fogg. Let me go ahead and unmute your line. And Bernard, what did you like best about today's presentation?
Well, I enjoyed that. Matter of fact, I was online last night trying to order some consumer folders, and they wouldn't allow me to do that because when I went to that page, it was a big red X there that said this content cannot be displayed in a frame. Can you explain what that is?
It might have been, yeah, there might have been some technical difficulty. You know, go ahead and email Trish. Go ahead and email her, you know, if you ever had challenges there. And, you know, Trish's information is over there on ShieldNation.
Okay, will do.
But, yeah, good for you for ordering those, and can't wait till you start using them.
Okay, and thank you for your presentation today. Wonderful job, sir.
Oh, you got it. My pleasure. Let's run out to the Arizona market. Millionaire Club members, 6-figure ring earners. Brenda and her husband, Jerry, just tremendous folks there. Brenda, what'd you like best? And I know you're a student and a teacher of our consumer folder. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, thank you, Mr. Cohen. Great presentation. And I would just say that, yes, I use this for everything. And when I started using this, Bob, it improved my closing ratio significantly. Yep. And because I think it's very visual, and you know, even if you don't have all of the right words or don't have it perfected, it still works. You know, because people can read it, people can look at the pictures and relate to it, and so it works very well. And I even use this for my group business. Last week I saw about 30 people, closed about 20 of them, and 99% of them had both plans. And it was because of this presentation right here. So, you know, to me it's the easiest way, the best piece that we have to share LegalShield with anybody. And I'd recommend everybody add this to your toolkit because it really, really does work. So
yes, thank you, Brenda. And folks, you know, the leadership, we're not here to steer you off course and let us make you more busier and, you know, maybe try something. Folks, this works. It works. It works. Here you got a Millionaire Club member, six-figure ring earner. You know, this is exactly what she does on a day-to-day basis. And folks, you know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So if things are not quite working here, you know, embrace this and absolutely, you know, start practicing it. And my kind of rule of thumb here, Brenda, is I think after about 20, 30 presentations, you pretty well got it down. You know, you'll just keep getting better and better. But that really is, that's probably the number. And it's really, it's not, I like what you just said there. You don't have to get every single word, you know, down, but you will eventually the more you keep doing it. Let me also add real quickly, folks, what about small business? Hey, I meet a small business owner. What do I do? Fantastic. You start with consumer. You start right here, exactly the same presentation we just did, and all you do then is take the flat sheet small business form, the two-sided flat sheet, and you just bundle it right on top of this sucker. You talk about how business issues are going to be covered, and you just bundle the price points together, okay? For a small business owner, you know, for some $80, you know, $110.95, whatever the different price points are in your state, not a big deal for a business owner, okay? So absolutely works really well in small business. Let's run out to Carmen. Carmen, is it Wilkes? Good to have you on.
Yes, it is. I just wanted to say it was great. I've been using this folder since August, I'd say. And the other day I ran out of them. I didn't think I did, and I about panicked because I didn't know what to say. So I ran home, got some more, went back, and it's wonderful. It just walks you through. But my aha moment was being able to write on it and actually having them check, you know, read the front of it and check those things. But it's made a difference for me. I feel so much more confident in people.
Wonderful. Thank you for that feedback, and you're absolutely right, Carmen. Folks, don't cheapen this. Don't try to make photocopies of this, and especially like in black and white. You know, I cringe when I'm out in the field and I see associates, you know, mess around. Folks, it's a system. You order it from ShieldNation. That's how your team is going to do. Everything duplicates, you know, good duplicates, but unfortunately bad duplicates. So please, you know, be professional. You know, have these done professionally. You know, look professional. Today I'm going to be wearing my LegalShield, you know, shirt. I'm going to have nice slacks on, the whole bit, folks. This is a multi-billion-dollar company that we represent, and we didn't have to pay the crazy, you know, $500,000 franchise fee. It truly, truly is amazing. Thanks, Carmen. Appreciate that. Let's run up to Clayton. Clayton, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, I tied into the system about 17 months ago, and ever since I did, I've been in Performance Club.
Wonderful.
And the system does work okay. I just have to tweak my language a little bit more, and I think I'll have more business.
You got that right. And I love that you mentioned Performance Club, folks. You know, that's the name of the game. That's the secret sauce, I always say, of your LegalShield business. That's really the secret sauce to getting the ring. So, you know, we always have a goal here of 5 points by the 15th of the month. And then what are you doing for the end of the month? You're getting your next 5 points so that you're always 5 points ahead of the game. Thank you so much there for sharing. And Clayton, I appreciate that. Congratulations again for being a product of the product, plugging into the system, and especially Performance Club qualified. Let's run up to, how about Keith Holmes? I think your line's unmuted.
Hello.
Hey, Keith, you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
We sure can. Go right ahead.
Well, is there a PDF form of that page you showed about what to take to the different types of meetings or sit-downs?
Sure, sure. In fact, when you go back to ShieldNation, you'll see that on the front page. That this whole page will open up, and then again, you click it, and then that will be the PDF that you can print out.
Oh, okay. I was talking about there's a PDF of that would show me all those different things on it, just as a picture as I'm looking at it on the site here.
Let's see, of the consumer folder?
No, of the that page that shows all the different presentations to take. That page right there, can I print that page out like a PDF or?
You maybe do like a screenshot, I think.
Oh, okay.
Sure, absolutely. So thanks for that, Keith. Let me get a couple more folks here so that we can end on time. Let's run out to, how about Laura Barker? Good to have you on, Laura.
Hi, thank you. I just wanted to say, great presentation, very helpful. And my takeaway was that we're the only company that has teeth to back up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a great statement to use. And then also, I love the way you use show and tell.
Good.
With your, with each section, and then you have a letter from the law firm or a ticket to bring home the point.
Yeah, you got that right. It's a visual. It's we live in a visual world, folks. We live in an MTV world, I used to say back in the 90s. That's what this presentation does. That's what the consumer folder does. Folks, we've worked years on this consumer folder. We've tweaked it, everything. There's a reason for everything. In fact, I didn't even talk about the very last page, ladies and gentlemen, is very important. Why? Because it's success story. Okay? I just did a presentation to a real estate investor, and this right here, we went over a few of these items that it really just clicked for him, going, oh, okay, yeah, I absolutely can see how I would use this service. Okay? On mine, I literally have greatlegalbenefit.com on the bottom there, on the fourth page. And why do I do that? Because let's say I meet with a spouse, and they now want to run it back by the wife, by the husband, what have you. I say, no problem. Do me a favor. Let's still fill out the enrollment form, but do me a favor. I'll highlight this right here, and I'll say, you don't have to try to repeat what we just went over. Why don't you just take about 8 minutes, and this will do a great job. Okay? So again, folks, have that greatlegalbenefit.com on there as part of your presentation. We're running close, but let's run out to Mr. Marv Worthy. Marv, I know you're a huge proponent of the consumer folder presentation. I'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely, Bob. Fantastic job, by the way. I can't agree more. When I got back in LegalShield, Bob, as you know, in 2012, I met with John Hoffman, and he shared with me the 4 questions. I came back from Oklahoma City and was able to write 50-plus memberships in 30 days, simply using this consumer folder, asking the 4 questions. I was a little rusty, but it didn't matter because this document is so incredible. What I love about what you talk about, Bob, is the whole idea of the prospect not being a passive listener in the presentation, but an active participant in the presentation. And for me, that makes all the difference in the world. I love today that you showed samples of stories, et cetera, et cetera. That's my aha moment. If I can add that, I imagine my business is going to improve tremendously because the folder itself does an excellent job, but what you're doing, Bob, is absolutely amazing. And so I really appreciate what you shared today. It's given me some additional tools. Back to you, Bob.
You got it, Mark. Thank you so much for the feedback, and it's my pleasure, folks. This is all I do every single day. How many times can I sit down with somebody and do this presentation? Literally, that's this business, folks. We help people. We get paid very, very well. It's as simple as that. Let's run out to Mr. Steve Hales. Steve, I know you're doing fantastic things, Performance Club qualified, and love to hear your thoughts.
Thanks, Mr. Cohen. I really appreciate your leadership, and I tell you what, it's kind of ironic because a year ago I was watching an archived webinar, and it was you going over the consumer folder presentation, and the fact that I'm on this webinar is it's kind of tickled, you know, it's kind of cool. So I just wanted to say what I was doing a year ago was I was going out and doing the consumer folder presentation from the script, and then I would watch you do it. And then I would go and do some more, and then I would watch Brielle do it. You know, I would watch John do it. So I was just able to get that activity knowledge, learn knowledge, tweak my verbiage, and then be able to go out and close more sales. As a matter of fact, the first presentation I did after watching you do this a year ago, I asked the 4 questions and closed the sale right there, about the application right there.
You got it.
So that was pretty amazing. And one more thing I'd like to add, I was invited out to the Mount Pocono market this week on Wednesday, and they wanted me to do their briefing, to do the membership side of their business briefing. And I used the exact same script, the exact same information, the 4 questions, and I killed it. I mean, this presentation, it fits everything. No matter what the tool is, you know, absolutely you want to use the consumer folder, but whatever setting you're in, you can ask those 4 questions and build value in the membership and get a response. So thanks so much for your leadership, Mr. Cohen.
Yeah, Steve, you're doing great. Thank you so much for being coachable. That's the name of the game here, folks. And Steve hit it right there on the head, folks, is go out there now and practice it. Practice it, practice it, practice. Let people know, hey, can I practice this on you? I've got my sister-in-law. That's exactly how she started her business, is she would just go and sit down with people and say, hey, can I practice this on you? And she literally would share the 4 questions. And back then, we didn't have this beautiful consumer folder, you know, all laid out the way it is today. It's literally just ready to be driven. So, folks, I want to thank everybody for taking some time here. This will be archived. So, you know, write down today's date, you know, November 7th, to come back to it. Again, feel free to go check out the Hoffman's version. You know, look at everybody. That's what we're here. It's a team sport. You know, you're gonna learn from everybody. I absolutely guarantee it. And so with that, again, I want to thank everybody. We'll see you here next week. Go out there, have some fun with your LegalShield business. So many people that we can help protect themselves against identity theft and have the peace of mind and security of top attorneys nationwide. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.